Hi everybody, it's Kimberly. Welcome back to the Illumin Guru. And thanks to those of you who are newly subscribed. I am so happy that you're joining us. Please follow us on social media, on Facebook and Instagram at the Illumin Guru. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm a soul coach and an intuitive advisor. We have our intensive program coming up here starting next week. It's a 3-week self-mastery intensive program for twin flames who are along the ascension journey and wanting to master the tools. Really great coursework, individual sessions, group calls. So there's a lot to that. Check it out on my website, theilluminguru.com. Click on classes and workshops, and it's right under there. It'll say the intensive program, 3-week intensive program. And you guys, past life regression, that's a new service, and that's underway, and it's been really, really amazing. It's just as amazing for me to experience what you see and experience, and the blocks that are cleared from the regressions. And so check that out as well. All right, so I wanted to post a short video to update on the energies for the collective. I said I would be making longer monthly videos, but this is kind of like a check-in for twin flames and pretty much everyone in the collective. And I really want to gear this message to the divine feminine. I would say that with my clients, I work with about 85% of the feminine. I'd say 15% of my clients are the divine masculine, or representing the divine masculine. And so I see, as I always say, I see certain trends and things that are trending in terms of the stuff that comes up. And I'm always amazed at how the themes and the patterns and the similarities and between clients and what comes up in a given week. And so I always like to report that information in addition with what I'm downloading from spirit, so that I can let you know, one, you're not alone, give you sort of a temperature on the current energies, and then also bring you some insight when I'm able to download from spirit why we're going through this and how we're supposed to be guided through it. Okay, so a couple things that are coming up. I just want to put this out there. So if it is resonating for you, take with you what stands out and what resonates. And if this doesn't resonate for you at all, you can move on to the next video or find some other videos in my library that are more in line with where you're at. But so overall for the feminine, one big theme that's been coming up in my sessions is this having to overcome the inner critic. And there is something around perfectionism and needing to be perfect. And so in these sessions, we've been looking at where the criticism started, in childhood, or who criticized, or when did you feel not good enough, and values and all of that. Really important, if this is coming up for you, to look at that. But energetically, I want to speak more about the energy of it and how we get out of the energy of this. So one, yes, we need the awareness of where this is coming from, where it's stemming from. Some of you say, well, I can't remember a time where I wasn't self-critical or putting a lot of pressure on myself, or that, my parents didn't put pressure on me, or I can't even remember a time like that. So for many of you, this has been like a very deeply ingrained way of being. So again, commenting on perfectionism, the inner critic, needing to get things perfect. So what I'm finding with my clients, because this is coming up when I tell you all over the board, is that from the core wounding, there are fixed beliefs in there. And those fixed beliefs are rigid, okay? So they're inflexible, okay? And they are fear. So when we look at belief systems, we have fear-based beliefs and we have beliefs that are rooted from love. The ones that are rooted in love often feel good and supportive and are positive. And the beliefs that are rooted in fear feel confusing and negative and mucky, and they're fearful. And like I said, there can be confusion, or like I said, there's usually this feeling of self-imposed pressure and self-imposed deadlines, but we may not be looking at it like it's self-imposed. So we need to examine these closer. So what are some of these beliefs? The beliefs could be something like, when it comes to, the pressure, I have to do this. I've got to do it right now. And if I don't get it right, oh my God, everything's going to be at risk. It could be even pressure with your mission, right? Things that you're doing with your mission. Oh, I'm not ready for that. I can't do that. I can't do that until I'm totally perfect and ready. I need that certification or that thing to share my gifts. And so let's just look at those two examples. So the first one was, I've got to do it now. If I don't do it now, time's going to run out, and then it will be, and I've got to do it because I'm putting all this pressure on myself. And it's like, yes, it is self-imposed pressure. And because there is time, space, this linear thing that we're on is an illusion. Nothing inspired is going to feel like a race, okay? And if we are racing to a finish line, we've got to slow down and say why. And say why, what is this? What is this all about from within? Is this, can I be more flexible with myself? Can I be kinder to myself? Can I give myself another week or two, or, alleviate this pressure in some way? Because what's happening energetically is when you're saying, I've got to do it now, and I've got to do it right, and I've got to do it this way. And you're feeling all this pressure energetically, you're like strangling the energy, okay? But when you say, okay, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to give myself a few more weeks. If it's not perfect, I'll keep working on it. And then what happens? You're moving towards what feels good. Does that feel like relief? When you feel relief, you have just moved in the direction of flow, in the direction of source, in the direction of alignment with yourself. When you're pushing yourself and forcing yourself and pressuring yourself energetically, like I said, you're strangling the energy. You're creating resistance. You're going into what doesn't feel good. It feels forced. It feels like too much. And for some of you, if you're in these situations, you may need to actually tell the people around you, and I've had to do this week because it's been a pressure cooker for me too. I've had to tell the people around me, including my twin flame, hey, I need some space. I got to deal with this stuff, and and priorities and responsibilities, and just setting some boundaries. And, honestly, not everyone's going to like that, including your twin flame, including your family. But you've got to put you first, and you've got to put your health and your well-being first, and your centeredness and your alignment. Okay? So let's take the scenario B, which is, like putting the pressure towards your mission. I've got to do it, but I can't do it yet because I'm not ready. And I'm not perfect, and I don't know how to do it without being perfect. And maybe you're putting a lot of constraints around that, or you're thinking you need more education, or that the sharing of the gifts can't come in the art of practice. Well, let me tell you that the sharing of the gifts does come in the art of practice. That's why we call these healing businesses and healing things that we do practices. Get it? So, some of those beliefs could be stemming from, ancestral beliefs and ancestral stuff that was passed down to you. Like, you've got to have the degree, and you've got to do this, and you've got to do that before you can go and make a living and all that. But nobody ever said to you as a child, oh, you're wonderfully intuitive. Go share your gifts, And so you got to kind of, in essence, look at yourself and give yourself that permission. And know, as a healer, as a teacher, as an enlightened being, that you'll get even better at being a healer. You'll get even better at being a teacher the more that you do it. Do you think my videos are perfect? No, we know that they're not. And if you look how far I've come and what I've been doing, it's like, God, I just put myself out there on a whim, and it all opened up. That's the thing about it. It didn't have to be perfect. And then I made it better, and then I made it better, and I'm still making it better, and I'm still stepping into my gifts. And all of you have that ability to do that. But it's overcoming, the fear. It's the fear that keeps us on the edge, on the precipice. Like, oh, I can't do it yet, or I've got to do it, but I can't do it now, and I've got to be perfect before I do it or step into it. And it's like, that is fear. So move into a space of love, which is, I do know my gifts. I do know, and most of you do know, and I do want to share them. And there's actually people around me who want to work with me. Okay, so I'm going to practice. And this isn't just for these two examples. I'm talking about in all areas of life in terms of coming from a place of rigidity and like a fixed fear-based beliefs. Start to draw your awareness to that. If it feels negative, if it feels confusing, get to the root of what the belief is. If you are feeling yucky, there is some fear-based belief in there. I can guarantee you. And if you can identify where that belief is coming from your core wounding, even better. You've got more to work with. You've got more light, more illumination for you to take that awareness and start to shift the belief. And shifting the belief, we almost have to dismantle the fear-based belief, right? We've got to know where it's coming from. We've got to be able to step out of it, lift out and be the observer, so that we can actually go, okay, so here's what I want you to do. If you are experiencing this right now, take your beliefs and write them down on a piece of paper. The things that you're struggling with, the things that feel like struggles, the things that feel like challenges. Uncover the beliefs. So it could be like, I can't do this. I've got to do it quicker. Any beliefs around anything that you're struggling with. Even with the twin flame, he's not showing up, or she's not showing up, so yeah, this is just done. I have to give up. Those are fear-based beliefs, okay? And so if you lift out and you look at those on your sheet of paper and you go, okay, one at a time, how can I soften this? That's the first question I want you to ask yourself. How can I soften this statement? And two, are there other options or possibilities? What would happen if I took the same statement and created some flexibility within it? So, for instance, we'll take the twin flame. My twin flame's not showing up, therefore this is done. I've waited long enough. I can't do it anymore. Okay, take that statement. I've written that down on a piece of paper. I'm going to look at it now. I'm going to soften it. Okay, so my twin flame is not here right now in the physical. That's softer, right? That's more of that statement where you're going downstream. It's easy, right? So he's not here yet in a physical, but I do feel him in the 5D, right? It could sound like that. And then you say, I know if I just keep my faith and keep the focus on myself, this will happen on its own time. This could happen on its own time. This is about creating the possibility for something else. Now, you just went from a place of, now you've got to get yourself energetically aligned with it, but you went from a place of, he's not showing up, it's never happening, and it's done, to, okay, he's not here right now, but I feel him in the 5D, and I've got to just allow and open the space for this to just play out the way it will, and allow him to show up when it's time, and I've got to work on myself. Okay, so that's that. We could do that in the two other scenarios, too, that I just gave you. So let's say, I can't do my healing practice yet because I'm not good enough. I know I'm good enough, but I'm just not good enough or ready enough. I can't do it. Okay, so what would be a softer statement? Something like, I am confident in my gifts. I know that I have gifts to share. However, I am a bit fearful. So for now, perhaps I'll just start practicing. Maybe I won't charge yet. Maybe I'll just charge a lower rate until I get more practice or feel more confident. But I really know that the feeling good will come in the act of doing, because I love doing it, but I'm just afraid, right? So that would be softening it, finding a new belief, right? Taking a problem, something that felt confusing and mucky, and looking at the possibilities. How can I soften this? How can I find a new perspective? Same thing with when you're in the pressure cooker, right? And you've got so much going on. You're like, I got to do this now, and I've got to do it right, and I've got to do it perfect. And kind of lift out and go, okay, what would happen if I didn't do this perfect? What would happen if I gave myself another week? You know what? I can do this over time. You know, when I really look at this, I can do this. I can care. I'm going to start working on it, and I'm going to diligently be working on it and putting my energy and focus towards it. But to alleviate all that negativity, I'm going to give myself more time. Wow. Doesn't that feel like relief? So these examples might not apply to you, but you may find other areas of your life that you're feeling this strangulation, this confusion, this muck, this struggle. So I want you to look at what the beliefs are and find out how you can soften, how you can change it, how you can create flexibility. Okay? Part of what we do in my intensive program is in the first week, we work on clearing negativity. And my wonderful friend and client and soul sister, Valerie, she put together worksheets for us in the first session, and I'll be using them in the next session as well. Valerie's a therapist out in California, and she's just wonderful. If you want her contact information to work with her, let me know, email me. But so she put together some worksheets where we become the observer of self in our limited thinking, in our it gives you questions and exercises that you can do so that you can start to understand where you're making assumptions versus following your intuition, where you are being very rigid versus being flexible. And it's a whole progressive exercise that helps us uncover these things. So those of you who are thinking, oh, that intensive program isn't for me, maybe it is. And I'd encourage you to investigate it further. There's only 1 week left to sign up, so I'm just putting that out there. And we cover a lot more than that, but you can see everything on the website. So that's a huge thing that's coming up for the collective right now. Also, if you watched Marla, who I love, hi Marla, from Twinstrology, from her video that she just posted, she was addressing the Divine Feminine, and I understand why. I really felt her heartfelt message. And she's talking about this feminine rising and a masculine rising energy, this masculine rebirth. But the feminine rising with this breaking out of controlling relationships, abusive relationships, coming out of that paradigm. And this is happening in the planetary energies, and it's also happening in our twin flame connections, in so many situations that we're in. So she's saying you may be feeling rage or anger, and you may be feeling like you need to speak out against some of this control. And I definitely agree with that. I definitely feel like the feminine is putting her foot down. And Marla talks about boundaries too. I'd watch that video if you haven't seen it. The reason why I'm mentioning it is because I've been feeling the same messages. I don't have much to add to that that's different, other than we are struggling with setting boundaries, but we're being called to, especially the feminine with the masculine energies. So if you haven't watched my video on how to set a healthy boundary, watch that. You can just go to the channel, type in the keyword boundaries in the search tool, and I'm sure you'll find the video. Also, Teal Swan has a great video on establishing healthy boundaries. I forget what it's called, but it's something like that. How to set healthy boundaries or something like that. Watch that, Teal Swan. These are all things that we're being called to right now. We're being called into our throat chakra. So I'm also hearing, and I'm feeling it too, raspiness and the lump in your throat and the tears coming through. We are purging it. It's coming from our power center, getting more hooked up to our power center, getting more into the open-heartedness, right? Into our heart space. It's the armor coming down. It's getting really real about the emotions that are in there, whether those be from our ancestral lineage, from past lives, from ways that we've been done wrong in this lifetime, right? By this patriarchal society and things that have happened to us in relationships with the masculine, out of balance masculine, or what I call false masculine energy. This is where the feminine are calling out now against the oppression. And this is what we're seeing in society, calling out against the oppression, calling out to be heard, and really, really speaking your truth. And I think in certain ways, many twin flames along the ascension journey have been, especially the feminine, have been needing to speak her truth. And you may be called to do that at this time, but it may be a departure for you if you're not used to setting healthy boundaries. And it may cause some friction. And the reason why it's going to cause friction is so that you can heal it, so that you can maybe once again, even though the masculine is rebirthing or has rebirthed, there's still a lot of this here, and it's coming up so that we can heal it. So in you speaking up, if it's met with resistance from the masculine, it's for the masculine's healing as well as yours. Okay, I can promise you that. You'll know what you need to do and when the time is right to do it. If there is something you need to speak or say or to set a proper healthy boundary. We don't become good boundary setters overnight. It is watch the videos that I recommended and practice. Practice in your everyday life with people that there is no emotional risk. Like, your boss or coworker or friend or whatever, where it's much more easy to set like, no, I don't feel like doing that today, but thanks. Or, your boss comes and says, hey, can you do this one more thing? Well, actually, I'm up to here with tasks today. I don't think I'll get to this today. Can I get to it tomorrow? Those are healthy boundaries, and those are good ways to practice without there being like an emotional risk there involved, like with your twin flame or with your mom and things like that. So as you practice and get better at it, then you'll be more seasoned and you'll be ready to actually set the boundary and speak up with the twin flame or with the person, your karmic partner, or with your mother or father, whomever. And so, again, don't put pressure on yourself if you're like, I need to speak up and I need to do it right now. But if you're doing it from a place of being out of your power, not in alignment with your values, because part of that boundaries video is getting in alignment with your values, it's not gonna flow. Okay, it may end up making you feel yuckier, and you may end up giving away your power. So make sure you get in alignment first. Watch those videos on how to set healthy boundaries, and then start practicing. And then if you feel called to speak your truth or set further boundaries with those in your life, then do so. All right, so I'm going to leave you with that for now. I hope that's helpful. Again, if you want to work with me in private session or check out that intensive program, you can do so on theillumineguru.com. I will see you guys soon. Bye.